Please take a seat. For the benefit of all the people that are here that have come this distance and have something to say, we still have, I think, 3 more speakers to speak. Okay, Christine, will you bring the first one forward? Thank you very much for being here.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Is this okay?
You're okay.
I'm Jan Carr. I didn't realize I was speaking today. I'm on the Finance Committee and Broadband Committee in Heath, and I'm going to read a letter from our Select Board Chair, Sheila Litchfield. So here goes. Let's hope my eyes hold out. MBI was established on August 4th, 2008 to, quote, achieve the deployment of affordable and ubiquitous broadband access for every citizen of the Commonwealth, unquote. Yet 8.5 years later, we still don't have it, in spite of trying all these years to get it. Heath is a small town without a commercial tax base. All town services are paid by property taxes. We are watching our real estate market plummet, and we're faced with closing our elementary school. This year, because of declining enrollment. All because people cannot live here without internet access. We need it so our children can do their homework. We need it to make income by telecommuting or from home-based businesses. We need it to conduct Town of Heath business and to pay taxes and to shop, to locate contractors, and to renew state licenses, to communicate with our doctors, to do research or take online classes, to get driving directions and to obtain information about opening and closing times of agencies and businesses. All basic activities of daily living that everyone else does every day and takes for granted. Each day that goes by without broadband digs us deeper into an economic hole that becomes harder and harder to climb out of. Now in 2017, Heath finds herself in a catch-22. In spite of excruciatingly careful municipal budget management, we have hit our levy ceiling. And we have hit it because of declining property tax values. At this time, we cannot pay for broadband by raising taxes because we've hit our ceiling. Lack of broadband caused the property values to decline. And as a result, now we don't have the taxes to pay for it. We were hopeful that a RFP issued by MBI might lead to some new options from a large cable or telephone company, but no options appeared. Only 2 of the responses to the RFP from local companies are possibilities for Heath, one being Crocker and one being WIP. Even with these options, however, Heath will need to be a part of a regional solution to afford to do anything. And we will need to explore the viability and costs associated with a hybrid system, including wireless, because of possible lower costs. Heath must proceed with a thorough and detailed network design so we can validate the construction costs before we fully commit to building a municipal network. Heath needs a partner in this effort that has both experience building and running municipal fiber to the home networks. A partner with the capability to see the project through from design to construction and who can function as our network operator. And we need a regional solution in order to achieve cost-effective economies of scale. Period. That's the end.
Thank you.
But sitting back and observing, if I could for 1 minute or 30 seconds.
Time's up.
No, come on.
Go ahead. No, we want to hear what you really believe.
Well, what I heard and what I see is a room full of people who have spent thousands of hours, probably tens of thousands of hours, in years, trying to make something happen that is a given in the rest of the state. I used to live in the Boston area and have many friends who come out and visit, and they're shocked. They can't believe it. I mean, they get over the cell service, but when they try to get on to downstream something, if that's what it's called, stream something, they can't. And they go back and tell their friends in Boston, do you know that Janie doesn't have the capability of doing this? And they say, oh, come on. They don't believe her. And the other thing I'm hearing is that a regional agreement is the only thing that's going to work for us. Every town's been spinning in circles. And MBI has been a moving target with new directives. So as we work on the newest, the rules change. It almost seems to be a form of colonialization.
Okay. All right.
We are competent towns, we're intelligent people, and we deserve basic services. We might need more money. This whole area might need more money. We've helped with the big dig. We've never complained, and we use it very rarely. We all fly out of Bradley. But I think the most important thing that MBI could do
Thank you.
is to be transparent and is to also be open to other possibilities as far as increasing our funding.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Steve Washington.
I'm Steve Nelson. I'm the MBI liaison for the little town of Washington, population 540 or so. I've been involved with this project for 7 years. I hear people talk about groups that put in thousands of hours. I think I personally have probably put in 5,000 or more hours, and some people like Jim have put in even more than that. So I would just like to talk about the elephant in the room, and we've heard its name surface, and that is regionalization.
Steve, we're talking about the private provider
I know,
RFP.
I'm getting there.
Okay, please.
We had hoped, some people had hoped, that maybe the private providers would come up with a regional solution. But we see the same pattern that occurred before all this happened, that all the cable guys, I used to be in the cable business, all the cable guys want to do is cherry pick, the Shutesbury's and a couple of others, and they're done. The only true regional approach was offered by Westfield. I don't think the Crocker proposal is anything more than a shell game to allow the residents to pay for the network that they're going to own. So we don't have a regional solution on the table, and that's really what we need. About 4 years ago, in a early meeting with the MBI, your outside counsel gets paid a lot of money, said if WiredWest didn't exist, we'd have to invent you. Well, we exist. But I don't understand why, for so many years, regionalization has been such a bugaboo for MBI. And you know what? It's really too late to talk about whether it can be regionalization or not. I look out in this room, I see a lot of people out here whose faces I've seen at meeting after meeting after meeting for years. You know what? We are a region. Are we a region? Yes. So all we want to do as a region is to work with you. I know there's some towns that want to go with themselves. That's their right. We've always said that. But for the towns who want to work together on a regional basis, we can work with you. We can help make this happen. We can make all of us succeed. But for a lot of towns like mine, it just don't work unless we're working together.
Thank you. Thank you.
Chesterfield, sir.
Hi, I'm Sue Labrie. I'm the town administrator in Chesterfield. I did not plan on speaking today. I really came to listen. But I think it's important that you hear from each of the towns that's present, and I hate to spew out everything that everybody else has already said. But regionalization was always our plan. I stood on the Goshen Town Hall steps and watched Governor Patrick sign the broadband bill back in 2007, 2008. Very hopeful that this was going to happen soon. Working in Chesterfield, I've watched the economic downfall, houses can't be sold. Our school population is decreasing. Our population is aging. Our one general store in town is closed. People aren't moving to town. People who sell their homes can't move Verizon Internet to the next buyer. They have to retain ownership, pay the bill, and have the person pay them who bought their house to retain that Verizon DSL. The RFPs that have gone out, we weren't one of the towns cherry-picked for any of the cable companies. We were passed over. The only viable solution for us seems to be Whip City. I am not on WiredWest. We were always hoping WiredWest was going to be our solution. We were relying for years on that regional solution. Those people knew what they talked about. We saw their economic development, or we saw their development plans for sustainability, which we were part of. We felt we had a voice with them. We think still that regionalization is the way to go. I went last year and signed a community compact with the Lieutenant Governor, pushing regionalization between towns on everything you could possibly think of. And we are trying to figure out how to make internet sustainable between our schools within the regional school district. And that community compact is still moving forward. But somehow, for some reason, regionalization for our broadband between these disconnected communities, as far as MBI sees us, is not going to work. We need to work together regionally for economies of scale to make this work. Chesterfield doesn't want to own or start a new department that's now going to run a broadband network. We don't want that. We have to own it. We understand that. We want to own our network. However, if MBI could release those funds to us, we could choose to work with a regional provider to build our network. We think it's going to be much more sustainable in the long run.
Thank you very much.
You.
That's who we have here that agreed to speak. I want to thank the representatives from Charlemont, Plainfield.
Hold on, Peter, I think we have one more.
Do we have one more?
Is Kimberly Longy?
Kimberly, let's go. Thanks, Kimberly. Sorry about that.
That's okay. How are you feeling? I appreciate the opportunity to speak. I am also from Plainfield, so.
Oh, Plainfield gets two?
And I'm like Jeremy.
That's all right.
Jeremy, I'm a little verklempt.
Go ahead.
So my name is Kimberly Longy. I live in Plainfield. I've been a lifelong resident of Western Mass and have been a leader in Plainfield and in the region since 1986. I'm so happy to be here to listen to look at and listen to all the people that have shared their perspectives and ideas and experiences. And I want to thank Ed, Peter, Christine, and Bill for putting this forum together. It's really important for us to have this kind of face-to-face time. My remarks, I hope, will be short. They're going to augment my 6-page testimony that I sent to you in advance of this meeting. And I want to just share that my perspectives about the challenges and opportunities presented by the results of this private partner RFP are really informed by more than 30 years of professional experience working at the intersection of community development, economic development, and media and technology. Excuse me. 14 years ago, I co-founded a national public interest organization called Free Press. You can find us on the web at freepress.net. And we are one of the leaders in the nationwide fight to make sure that broadband is accessible, affordable, open, and innovative for both rich and poor people and urban and rural people alike. I believe, that communications rights are fundamental human rights, and broadband is a necessity, not a luxury. You've heard from more than 15 towns today, and I'm sure many more will be communicating to you directly outside of this meeting. And the common themes really are that the MBI middle mile experiment, the concept of if we build it, they will come, has not yielded the expected results. The private partner RFP has borne that out. We, in Plainfield, of the 6 respondents, only one is really viable for our goals and needs, Westfield Gas and Electric. You've heard that from nearly every person that's testified. What I think is really important for MBI to acknowledge is that as it is moving and changing its role through the middle mile now to the last mile problem solving, you're hearing loud and clear from my community and from all of the communities in this room that your role has changed, and it would be really helpful if you could clarify your ideas about your role and your responsibilities to us as the communities that bear the risk of these large projects. Clarification of what you are doing, when you are doing it, and how we can have input to that process is paramount to Plainfield. We are ready to move. We are going to move with pursuit of conversations with Westfield Gas and Electric. We need to have clarity in our risk analysis and decision making that our $650,000 will be available to us as we move. We need you to think of that as a single pot of money, not an arbitrary distribution between professional services and construction. As anyone who has been involved in infrastructure projects of this order of magnitude, we need the flexibility of a clear funding commitment, but we also need the ability to make problem-solving moves as design and engineering and as construction moves forward. Tying us up with arbitrary divisions of those funding pools will not help us, and it's not useful for this point in time. Yep. I also just want to wrap up and say MBI has been very successful as an advocate at the state and federal level and as a resource generator. I urge you to think, as you are rethinking what the role of the organization could be, is to focus on that urgent need. There's probably going to be a need for more than $40 million to solve this problem for the entirety of the region. In addition, the construction and the availability of broadband infrastructure is only one side of the problem. Adoption of broadband is as much of a part of the digital divide in our region. And we have many, many, many low and moderate income households in my town. And so I urge MBI to be thinking ahead. Think about success. Listen to the towns we're ready to go. If we can have our networks built, the next wave of problem solving is going to be getting people to adopt broadband service. If you can be thinking about ways to leverage your power and your advocacy to be looking at ways to reduce subscriber costs, to help communities, help their low and moderate income people sign up for broadband, that's a win-win. You have a role and a purpose beyond what our own towns can do, and I urge you to play that role.
Thank you.
I also urge you to take the themes that you've heard today. I know that there is an MBI board meeting scheduled for the 27th, and that there's an MTC board meeting scheduled for the 28th. My hope is that you can actually synthesize the solutions that we have offered you and bring those forward to decision-making action at those meetings. I know they're just a couple weeks away, but as you hear, we're ready to go. We need to move. Time is of the essence. I look forward to your thorough response to my detailed suggestions, many of which I wasn't able to talk about right now.
Okay.
And again, I want to thank you for having this forum.
Thank you, Kim.
Okay.
Thank you. Okay.
Hi, I had meant to come here and listen, so I don't have a lot prepared, but I just wanted to add 3 things that may have been covered already, but I just wanted to mention them.
So Lynn, could you identify yourself?
Oh, I'm sorry, Lynn DiTullio, Coleraine Last Mile Committee. We had a nice conversation this morning. We learned about this with Bill Ennin and some other folks. We learned about the MBI Assist, this yet another version coming out. I'll just echo what Kimberly has said. We're ready to move. We want that design engineering money. We need it. We need it. We need all the money. The other element of this is that for us to go out and get a bond, is a big deal, and I don't know if anybody's talked about that before yet. And it was a little bit news to me. We're ready, we have a green light letter, but there's a lot of trepidation on the part of our select board and town administrator about that whole issue. What kind of interest rate are we going to get? What kind of term are we going to get? Are we going to be able to pay it? Our mill rate is up to $20 per thousand. I mean, that's a very high level, and we have a lot of low-income people in our town. So assistance on that side is another thing to think about. And the last thing is that whatever you come up with in terms of qualifying Westfield Gas and Electric, whatever that might mean, so that they can get design engineering money, or whomever it might be, Crocker, or other third parties, just please keep it right-sized. I hope you understand at this point that the town officials and members of these committees are all volunteer. Our capacity for complex level of bureaucracy and details and reporting and all that sort of thing that might be absolutely standard in Eastern Mass is absolutely impossible for us. We want your guidance, we want your help, and we want it to be right-sized, and we want to move. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks for this opportunity. Like the previous person, I and one of my colleagues from Alfred came just to listen, but having listened, we feel obligated to make a couple of observations. My name is Bob Lichter. I chair the board of the Alfred MLP. And I will not rehash what others have said far more eloquently than I, except to say that overwhelmingly we are all in agreement. But there's 2 points that I'd like to make. One is that the notion of regionalization is a very constructive concept, but there are 2 ways to get to a regional network. One is from the top down, where you design the region and then go ahead and build it. The other is to let it grow organically from individual efforts in individual towns, showing that they're sustainable, and then figuring out how to develop a region based on that sustainability. And that's the route that Alfred is taking. Yes, we're developing our own, but we are certainly open to the notion of being part of a regional network as I've described it. The other point I want to make is that we are in the fortunate position of being this close to making a decision on a contractor to design and build the network. Notice that I said design and build, not design, bid, build. And that is a constraint that the current interpretation of the law puts on all of our small towns, which has the risk of preventing towns from operating in the most efficient manner possible. And we are trying to address that now through conversations with our state legislators, and I would urge all of you to take a look at that. If you were here at the procurement workshop a few weeks ago, you learned a lot more about how the Attorney General's office, the Inspector General's office interpret laws which they themselves admit are murky. And we're trying to pursue mechanisms to encourage fast tracking of legislation that will allow that murkiness to be removed to the benefit of all the towns. And I would hope that MBI would help support that effort and not either stand aside or get in the way, because it's a very, very important point. So thank you very much for this impromptu opportunity.
Thank you. Thank you. Well, thank you for all of you who have come here today. I just want to quickly walk through the people that have come. We had Charlemont, Plainfield, Worthington, Goshen, Rowe, Beckett, Middlefield, Hawley, Ashfield, Shutesbury, Heath, Washington, Chesterfield, Plainfield. I had Coleraine, Alfred, and all of you have come and brought thoughtful testimony to this proceeding. The next steps for us is to review many of the questions you've received today and respond in that regard. We're going to work to continue to qualify respondents. Clearly, that's a challenge that still remains in front of us. Your feedback today is really important for us and it was really helpful. Once the process is complete, we'll correspond directly with each of the towns regarding the outcome of the process and post information on our website. I'm about the task of meeting all the towns with proposals per se that are qualified. In fact, I have a couple meetings tomorrow. I believe I'm in Goshen, and where am I going? I think I got 4 towns I've got to hit. In Montgomery tomorrow for sure. So, each of the town holds a decision here to a solution. We truly do, and you really have done yeoman's work to where we are today. I think we've making some progress, albeit it's not fast enough, and financially we still have challenges. And I will just sit here today and tell you that this governor is committed to find the solution. Truly is, and the input that we have received from you today will be delivered to the governor's office in that regard. Yeah. So to that, then I want to just thank you for your attendance and the like. If anyone would like to submit further testimony, it is at Donnelly at masstech.org. And I just want to thank you today for your input. It's really important for all of us. So thank you very much. Thank you.